Hey there, how are you doing today? I have a special guest, and I call her my secret weapon because what I've found is like after years of playing hard and trying like all different kinds of sports and all different types of activities, some of them really weren't the quite right thing for me. And what I noticed was that I was getting more and more injuries. And I had this particularly bad case of sciatic. And I went to like literally doctor after doctor, chiropractor, acupuncturist. I went to everybody. And then someone introduced me to Kristina at Egoscue. And Kristina actually was able to not only fix that issue I was having, but be with me for probably the last 10 years or more, maybe even longer, to fix all the things that I keep breaking. So today I wanted to bring Kristina on and introduce her and then let her tell you a little bit about some of the things that she knows. Hey, Kristina, thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, Kelly. Thanks for inviting me. I'm super excited to be here and to talk about Egoscue and just our long time relationship that you and I have had together. And yes, Egoscue is an amazing modality. We really focus on the root cause of why the pain is there. So when Kelly came in, we didn't just focus on looking at the sciatic issue just from her leg, if it was traveling down her leg to her hip. We looked at her from head to toe, and we
And I was a little cattywampus, wasn't I?
because it's all about joint alignment, so postural therapy. So we are looking to see what your shoulders are doing, what your knees are doing, how the ankle and foot are working with the knee and hip. And so we took an evaluation of Kelly, and then we created exercises based on what we saw with her postural analysis. And then we taught them to her. So she was able to go through the exercises and give us feedback about how she was feeling as we went through the process. And, we just kind of continue from there. But, Egoscue is, it's a very wonderful tool that we try to help clients take in as like fixing themselves. We give them the knowledge, but it puts your health back in your own hands because we like to educate you about what's going on with why you have the problems.
Yeah. That's the funny thing because like I used to find that I would go to the chiropractor and my chiropractor, I love him. I love him. And what would happen is that he'd fix me for a day or maybe two or maybe even a week, but then the problem would come back. And what I learned from you is that it really is like the leg bone connected to the hip bone connected to, like it was such a connection in the body. And then I felt like I had power because when you gave me the exercises or the e-sizes, like is what you all call them, when you gave me those, then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm not just hoping someone else is going to fix me. I have the power in my hands to do it. And
Right.
that's one of the things I really love about this. And yeah, like I'm a perfect client because I keep breaking things. Right.
We go out and do more, and then we come back, right? And that's
Right. I go out, I do something that maybe I shouldn't have done, and then I'm back. But then you consistently show me how to fix things and get it back in alignment. So why does the body get out of alignment?
well, it comes from a lot of different things. It can come from muscle weakness. It can come from repetitive things that we do. And so many of my clients, they don't know how they got injured. And as I talk to them, because we talk a lot here, we like to listen to your story. We find out that maybe they sit at a desk all day long, or they cross their legs, or, they lean into their console when they're driving. And this repetitive motion, although we don't feel like it is repetitive, we do it all the time. And the body then tries to pick up that as the new balance or the new baseline. And so then when you go out to run and your body's used to lean into one side, then you're going to start to have issues because the function isn't there, the alignment's not there, because of what we do every day. So we help them to break those cycles of bad patterns by just talking to them and showing them how things should be, and then just talking about what they may be doing at home that could be causing some of the issues. A lot of times it's ergonomic. So now that everybody has been home for almost a year working from their desk, we're in these weird places and sitting on folding chairs rather than the nice ergonomic desk that maybe we had at our office. And so we've seen a lot of things come in from that too. But
Oh, yeah.
it can come from
Yeah.
repetitive things a lot.
And that's so true because I catch myself, my go-to thing, if I'm not playing, is working. Like, I like to work. I do like to work. But I spend a lot of time sitting at my desk, and whether or not my desk is set up well, I still, like, a lot of my issues come in the right side of my body. And I've always assumed it's, the mouse, because I'm always mousing, right? And is that a word anymore? I guess it is. And you know what? If you're listening, I just want to tell you this, that even though Kristina is in Houston, she works with people all over the world. So, like, don't feel like this isn't going to help you because you can't see her. She works with people all over the world. So stick with us, and I'm going to give you all her information at the end. But that whole idea has definitely gotten me a little bit more aware. I won't say that I'm totally aware, but right now I uncrossed my legs and moved my feet, which is really hard because I always cross my legs. But it is interesting. So it's that reuse of, like, a repetitive thing. And when you say that, I can think of this, like, almost every time I come in to see you, it's because I've been doing one thing, like one trick pony. I think
Mhm.
the last time I was in, it was because I'd been riding my bike so much, and just like I do, I'm a little bit of, is that obsessive when you get one thing and you just kind of do it and do it and do it? Right? So do you suggest to people that not only do they get, like, find the expert like you that can help them figure out where they're out of alignment, but because I'm sure we all are, if you think about it, I'm sure we all are, because we all do certain things that are kind of um, not just, they're repetitive, and then, we are all people who do, similar things, right? Like, if you love to golf, you love to golf.
Right.
So do you suggest people also do multi activities, or is it more about just getting fixed in alignment right now?
Well, alignment is definitely key, but having different types of outlets for, your stress relief or stimulus, right, is better to have like a cross training. Like if you like golf, then maybe you should also, walk and then maybe do a little weightlifting or at least plyometrics or something that will kind of offset the golf position. We also say that, pre and post of doing the exercise that you love, you should do a little bit of Egoscue to kind of get the body ready to actually
Ooh.
do positions.
I forget to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe after 20 years, you'll teach me.
Yeah. But yeah, it just really is. If you think about it, you want to take an aligned body into the sport that you love, because then you're recruiting the right muscle groups to actually do, golf or tennis or whatever it is that you're doing. And it's a lot less effortless to do it because you're recruiting the right muscles because you're aligned prior to starting the golf match or the tennis match.
Wow. You know, I shouldn't even admit this to the world, but after all these years of working with you, I don't think it ever set before until you just said that, like, a lot of times I fit my Egoscue in
Hmm.
where it fits,
Oh
but
yeah.
right? But my cardio is usually what I use to not be totally crazy. So it's the thing that, gets to go first all the time. And I never really think about the fact that if I do the exercises first, then
Mhm.
I'm recruiting everything. I'm recruiting the entire body when I go out and do what I love to do.
Right, and it just becomes a lot less effortless. You'll get more of the right line that you want, or you won't be as tired. We've had triathletes come in and they've increased their times just by getting aligned because now they're recruiting the right muscles and it's easier for them to run, cycle, and swim because the body is more aligned. So they're not using as much energy up as they would if they were trying to pull a shoulder forward. That needs.
Right. Right. Yeah. Kind of like dragging something forward with you. Yeah. No, I totally get that when you say it. That makes sense. So, so how does someone know if they're out of alignment?
Well, typically it starts with pain. So, and it's you will get this little achiness or just, a feeling of tightness, and it doesn't just go away with rest. You may consult someone and they may say, oh, just lay off for that a little while, but it might get better when you stop doing that activity. But the moment you go back, it's there. And so that's a big sign that there's an alignment issue. The other thing is you can look at the bottom of your shoes and you can see how the wear pattern is on the bottom of a shoe. And that will tell you about your foot strike. And, with a lot of things, we are standing, running, moving. And if the foot strike isn't heel ball toe, if it's on the inside, outside of the heel, then the foot's coming through and you're pushing off your big toe, you might have a bunion. Those are things that will also let you know you're not aligned. But pain is the first symptom. I would say maybe just feeling like you're always pulled forward. We get a lot of people who aren't in pain yet, but just notice that I can't keep my head back or my shoulders are all collapsed in. It's better to fix something before it becomes painful. So those people can be, proactive about posture.
So, okay, I have a question about posture. Someone I know, is starting to spend way too much time looking at the phone. So there's that hump starting back there.
Mm-hmm.
Can you get rid of that?
You can. Again, you're going to have to change some of the things that you do, right? We can help get that alignment there. But, our VP always says, if you don't change your outside world, what we're doing inside to help you with the Egoscue, it will work then. But if you go right back to, whatever it is, it's a bad habit, you're just kind of fighting to get back to that place. So, we try to talk about a lot of different, ways to hold your phone, use your technology, make sure you're very square, you're not leaning in. There's a lot of things that we all do. I mean, and some of the signs that you're doing it too long is that you will start to get crampy neck, or your hand holding your phone might start to ache. I mean, those are signs your body's saying, hey, stop it. So
right.
Listen to your body.
Back to the pain thing, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pain is a good teacher if you pay attention to it. Otherwise, it's just literally pain in the butt.
Yeah, and we always say pain is like the warning signal in your car. So, you're driving down the freeway and the warning light comes on in your car, it's telling you something's wrong. Well, the body does the same thing, but it does it with a pain signal, right? So if your warning light comes on in your car, you don't continue to drive it. You want to go and get it checked out to see if it could be something big, could be something small. But that's the kind of the same thing. Your body is just trying to tell you, hey, something's not right, something's not working correctly. And so that you don't continue to do it, I'm going to send some pain up that way so that you stop. And, some people ignore the pain, go through it. They end up in a worse place, and, for the most part, because then it's debilitating pain, not just a little pain.
Not just that nag. That's a really cool way to think about it too, because I never really thought about that. But if my light comes on in my car, I immediately go take care of it, right? Like, I'm a maintenance queen. I love maintenance. But there are times when I don't do the maintenance for myself.
Right.
So, yeah, that's a really good point.
Like your warning light to tell you, hey, something isn't right. And especially if you might just be tired one day, maybe because you worked out a lot. But if it continues to happen and you get that same knee pain every time you try to run, your body is telling you something. It's like, hey, you've got to take a look at what you're doing, how your foot is landing, what your body's doing, because it's telling you, like, you're rubbing or wearing at that joint. And, continue to do that, you could have worse problems down the road.
So, okay. Let me just kind of recap real quick, just to make sure. And I want you to let me know what we're missing here. So first, if someone's in pain, they need to be paying attention, right? A multitude of different activities, like have the whole spectrum instead of pulling a Kelly and, getting caught up with one particular activity. Do your exercises or your Egoscue before and after, even if it's just small amounts.
Right, exactly.
So what else should people be thinking about when they've got injuries?
Well, the one thing that you and I have talked about this a lot is what happens sometimes is people become fearful, right? Because they have a pain. Maybe they've gone to a couple of different places and they've, been told this or that, or they've tried this and nothing's helped. And so the one thing that you want to think about is it's your body is telling you something, but the fear cycle that comes with that pain after it's not going away is very debilitating too mentally. So if you become fearful, even if it's like, gosh, is that knee pain ever going to go away? Am I going to be able to run? People are thinking down, am I going to be crippled? I mean, there's all kinds of things that start swirling around in our heads, and that's not healthy. And so that is one thing that we do help with clients to help break the pain cycle, because we help them to see that there is a way out and there are the reasons why they hurt. We explain that to them and show them, see how your knee is going in and your foot is going the opposite way. So don't let yourself get to that cycle of fear, because that is another layer of issue on top of your pain that you're already dealing with. And that can mentally break you down and
Oh, yeah.
break
Yeah.
that cycle.
That is so true. When I think about it, when you talk about that, like when I came to you the first time, I was terrified because I had gone to all these doctors and they were talking about, like, I don't know what it was at the time, like replace your hips or something. And I was just like, oh, my life is over, because, one of the things I love more than anything is doing activities, and you're right. I mean, that not only did I start feeling power because I could do the exercises, but because I was no longer in fear. The fear is it's so debilitating. And as we get a little bit older, and older could be anything, doesn't matter, right? Like when I was in my 30s and I hit my 40s, I thought I was getting older, but that was just the start, right? So it really doesn't matter what older is, but older is always that worry that what if this is never going to go away? And now I'm going to have less of what I want to be able to do.
Sure. Yeah. And yeah, that's the thing. Like the alignment and fitness can come at all stages of life. Just because, people will say, oh, my knee hurts because I'm just getting older. Well, that's really a story that's not an untrue story that we just kind of use because maybe we've heard it. Pete Egoscue himself is in his 70s and he's still very active. I mean, a couple of years ago, he took up kite surfing. So, I mean, someone that's, older can be super aligned and healthy and feel great and be functional. It's just a matter of getting yourself there and just maintaining that functionality that you want so that you can do everything that you love. And that just keeps everything healthy.
It's true. And you said something, and just talk about this for just one more second, because I do hear people say to me a lot, well, I hurt because I'm getting older.
Mm-hmm.
And I say to them, no, you hurt because you're not moving.
Right.
You're probably taking it a little step further than that. It's not just moving, but it's moving correctly, isn't it?
Right. In the body, I mean, you hit on something that's a big topic too for us is stimulus. When your body does not have stimulus, like, even moving, walking, functioning, your insides don't work either, right? I mean, your gut stops working the right way. Your blood flow is not as good. Your tissue starts to be damaged. And stimulus is so important to the body. And so moving, getting out there, but, if you hurt, sometimes that can be that vicious cycle. Well, I try to go out and walk, but I hurt so much, so
Right.
to the root of that cause. And then we help you to get back out there so that you always have that stimulus, so that you can get the proper blood flow and keep your tissues, with all the nutrients going through your blood and into your muscle. It's very important to keep yourself pliable. If you touch your shoulder and it's hard as a rock, there's an issue. So any muscle on your body should be pliable. It shouldn't be super hard, because that tells us there's not blood flow going there.
Really? Okay. Now I'm going to walk around today poking at myself.
Hey.
Where am I pliable? Where am I not pliable? Oh no. But it's also like what you said a minute ago. It's also mental, right?
Yes.
It's when you can't move, then you go into the mind issue. I've done this. Like I've done it probably 100 times since you've known me. When I get injured, the first thing I do is it's kind of like I freeze, right?
Yes.
And so, yeah. So, okay, a couple of things. One of them is that you are in Houston.
Right.
That's how I found you. But the truth is that you work with people all over.
Yes.
So I'd like to just throw a couple of things out there to everyone listening. One of them is there is a book that I've bought for probably everybody. And if you want me to buy it for you, just call me and I'll buy it for you too and send it to you. It's called Pain Free. And it is was written by the gentleman who started Egoscue and Pete Egoscue. So it's a good primer, right? I think it's a great primer. I use it like if I can't get into Kristina because she's too busy one week and I don't have, a series of exercises I'm working on. Sometimes I'll go to the book and just kind of look at it. And more than anything, just looking at that book gives me hope that I'm going to be okay.
Right.
Right? So it's settling the brain. Like it's always settling the brain. But in actually working with you, and I'm going to share all this on the show notes too, but tell everybody what the best way is to reach you.
So the best way to reach us is to actually call our office. I have a great office manager, Rhonda, she knows a lot about Egoscue and she can give you all the basic details, but calling our office 713-590-3990 and getting yourself scheduled for a consult. We can do, if you're not in our city, we do virtual sessions as well. We do consults, those are free. So you can get a 30-minute consult and find out more about Egoscue and if it's the right plan for you, either by just calling, getting that set up with Rhonda or, just inquiring email. But the best way is to call.
Okay.
And go ahead.
I'm just going to say this. I'm going to go ahead and book all my sessions now so that I've got space on your calendar before people start calling and taking space. But the reality is that yes, you're going to learn about Egoscue when you go to the consult, but you're also going to learn about yourself. And it's not just, Kristina's not going to get you in a room and beat you up and try and, get you to start doing Egoscue. She's going to actually show you what's not working and what's working so that you can feel powerful. Because I do believe that when we feel like we have the power to fix what's going on, then it's so much easier to get everything working. It's just like our bodies kind of fall in alignment when our mind settles down.
Right. It just that's that connection between how we think and how we feel. And power, knowing that you can take care of yourself, it really does eliminate a lot of the fear that comes with, worrying about, oh my gosh, like, is my ankle going to hurt like that forever?
Right. Is this the end? Right.
Right.
It's the beginning of the end. I mean, I think that's what a lot of people start thinking. It's like, oh no.
Yes.
Right. And okay,
Right.
guys, everyone listening, guys and gals, Kristina's phone number and her website will be in the show notes. So don't worry. You can always find everything there. You can literally, if you want that book, if you drop me a note, I will send it to you because I think it's really important for us to take control of our health, right? And our health is so much our energy, our body, and injuries. So Kristina, is there anything else you'd like to let people know before we wrap up today?
I would say, speaking of the book, if people get the book, read the first 3 chapters. That really gives you a good insight about what Egoscue is and the thinking process that goes into that. You'll be tempted to flip to the hip section if that's what you have, a hip issue. They're like, we call it a business card. It kind of gets your feet wet, but take the time. It's an easy read. The first 3 chapters will really give you a good history of Egoscue and to think about if it's the right modality for you, because it gives a lot of insight about how we look at you.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for all the years of helping me. Thank you. And for sharing this with everybody on the podcast today, because I do call you my secret weapon. Like every person I send to you, I'm like, this is my secret weapon. You really ought to do it. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It was so much fun. We'll have to do it again.
Okay, we will.